The guest speaker we have today is Dan Hawes. He is the co-founder of Graduate Recruitment Bureau, and it's a recruitment agency based in Brighton. It's founded in 1997. We're co-founded with Chris Cater. What they do is they supply first-class students, graduates, and mid-level talent to SMEs. So SMEs, if you don't know, are small and medium enterprises. They also supply them to FTSE 100 companies as well. Another service they provide is they supply companies with advertisement services to recruit the students as well. They do these for internships, contract roles, and placements as well.
10 out of 10. Thanks, Dominic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you, and also everyone else who's tuned in this morning for the Meet the Employers session. This is my second time running a webinar, so huge thanks to the team at Pearson College, Rachel and Lisa. And I'm going to be giving you a 15-minute overview on the jobs market, followed by about 15 minutes for the opportunity for you to ask any questions. So to do that, use the chat box, and we'll go through those questions at the end. This is being recorded, so if you need to go back through any of the slides or share it with your friends, then do so. But I will be available ongoing. If you have any inquiries, you want to send me your CV, get the team to start matching you up with jobs, that kind of thing, because that's what we do day in, day out. So here we go. First of all, just to add to what Dominic kindly did to introduce Graduate Recruitment Bureau, I'm the co-founder. Set it up back in 1997 with a fellow graduate from Brighton University. We both did business studies, and we thought we'd set up a business. So we did that in 1997, and we've slowly grown to about 40 staff now in our Brighton office, and we serve over 1,800 clients. These are across all sectors, companies. In the FTSE 100, you will definitely have heard of, like Post Office, IBM, Unilever, and Ocado, that come to us for really good graduates for their schemes and direct entry roles, but also a huge number of fast-growing SMEs. So these are a mixture of companies that you may not have heard of. They're not quite in the Premier League yet, shall we say, and they go under the radar with graduates. But they need really, really smart graduates to help them grow and to provide management teams and beyond. So huge variety of different clients use Graduate Recruitment Bureau, and we have some really good relationships with them. Now, our team of recruitment experts, they've managed to successfully match over 8,000 graduates with full-time graduate level jobs. So 8,000 graduates have used our service to find their first job. So that's really, really satisfying from our point of view. We're setting these graduates off on some fantastic career trajectories, and we'd be delighted to help this year's crop of Pearson College graduates. So the graduate recruitment industry. You wouldn't be surprised to hear that things have been affected by the pandemic, by the reduction in social mobility and the brakes on the economy. So here's a short overview of some of the things that have been going on in our industry, okay? So the first thing is the ISE, which stands for the Institute of Student Employers, recently did some research. Now, that's our professional industry body. They're made up of about 800 graduate recruiter members. So some of them are our clients, but they, as a whole, recruit thousands of graduates every year. So whatever they say, we pay attention to. So a recent survey came out in May, and it showed that 23% of their members say they'll be recruiting less graduates in 2020. Now, that's not as bad as it sounds, because 77% will carry on recruiting graduates. Okay, so that's actually not too bad. In the last downturn, and we've seen a few over the years, so 9/11, the dot-com bubble, and than the recession in 2009, the figures were about the same. So, what we're hearing is that graduate recruiters haven't stopped hiring graduates. Only 23% have said they were recruiting less. Okay, so that's not too bad. Now, the reason the members are saying this, and 39% actually said it was uncertainty. Graduate recruitment is very much an investment in future potential. So if that company is feeling that other priorities take over, certainly for smaller firms, survival is more important than training graduates, or for larger firms that are in sectors that have really been hit, uncertainty about the next month, year really affects their strategy. So 39% said uncertainty is the biggest reason for changing their hiring plans. Now, as things hopefully improve and the pandemic fizzles out and the economy starts to gain traction and momentum, we'll see a return. The big question is, how long will that take? So what we've noticed are the employers that are recruiting graduates, they've either committed to the start dates of round about now, September, October. A huge number of graduates start graduate schemes and training programs. And our clients have committed to those job offers they made maybe 6 months ago, which is really good. We did think maybe those offers would be rescinded. But to the employer's credit, they've stuck to their promises. And by and large, they've taken on the graduates that they've made offers to. Now, the ones that are still hiring right now, they're going to delay the start dates for their new hires. So they've said, yeah, we're going to take on graduates, or they've maybe made offers, but they've just pushed the start date maybe 6 months, or maybe even deferred it to a year. But again, they've still made that commitment to take on those graduates, but it might just be delayed, which is not great for a graduate who needs to pay off their debt as soon as possible and get going with their career, but at least they still have a job. So 31% of employers anticipated delaying the start dates for their new hires. Now, some sectors have been really affected badly by what's been going on. We all know about the hospitality industry, leisure, tourism, pubs, retail, aviation. Certain sectors are really contracting and they're not hiring. So, what we're trying to find are the sectors that are growing, that are coming through this, have actually seen their growth accelerated by what's happened. So certainly for SMEs and larger firms in those sectors, it's hard, but for those in the built environment, financial and professional services, which is a huge area, by the way, energy, engineering and industry, so that's like manufacturing, things like that, they are, they're really finding that it's a struggle for them in those particular sectors as well. Now, the ISE did this handy little chart here to show you by sector on the left-hand side the percentage change in the graduates that they're hiring, okay? So the middle column is the most important to us. So I mentioned there built environment as one of the sectors that's really been affected. And you can see here 45% reduction in their hiring of graduates. So that's an area probably best avoided right now. Another sector is retail and FMCG, down by 18%. Now, online retail has done a lot better. So you have to dive into this research a bit more because that's a very general and large sector. So high street stores, I mean, we're hearing about huge chain stores making redundancies and things like that. So it's where there's no footfall. People aren't going out, going down the street, shopping anymore. It's those kind of shops that are being affected. So, generally it's, not massive reductions, but these are the industries, according to this research by the ISE, that have said, you know what, we're going to reduce our graduate recruitment. and you can see the figures here. So legal's not down by that much, only 4%. And in fact, a lot of legal cases have backed up over the lockdown. And when that bounces back, there's going to be a huge amount of work for them to get through. So maybe that's slowly going to come through this quicker than other sectors. Digital and IT, 17%, it's quite a drop. But again, you have to look further into this sector because there are certain IT firms that are finding their growth is actually accelerating. So we're dealing with companies involved with cybersecurity, financial tech or fintech, and other niche technical firms that seem to be doing very well off the back of this pandemic and downturn. So that's kind of a general overview there of some of the sectors that are suffering right now. So if we look at what we've been experiencing so far this year, here's some top line figures for you. So I looked at the number of placements we've made by degree type. Now, a large number of our clients like to hire STEM graduates. So that's science, technology, engineering, maths. But they do also hire other disciplines. So 16% were business graduates. And they go into a really wide range of different careers. It's a fantastic degree. Economics, excellent degree, very numerate, obviously, some excellent transferable skills. So we placed, out of the total, was 7% were economics graduates, 2% were management, 1% were finance, and 1% were accounting. Now that's, only 9 months into this year. Things will change month by month, and the job market is constantly changing. So that's just a snapshot of a breakdown of some of the kind of graduates that we've been placing recently. Now, the top sectors. So these are the sectors that are hiring graduates the most right now. So number one, e-commerce, okay? So Amazon was one of our biggest clients. So they hired huge numbers of graduates from us. They're an e-commerce firm. So any online retail or e-commerce company, and there are hundreds and hundreds, are doing extremely well because people are stuck at home. If they need something, they're buying their groceries or they're buying clothes or they're buying all sorts of things, but they're doing it online. And it's also across the generations now. So it really has exploded. So that sector is hiring huge numbers of graduates. And it's not just, graduate management training schemes. An e-commerce firm will have lots of different divisions within it. So accounting, finance, HR, operations, sales, marketing. So there's lots of different divisions. So you need to think about how that company looks and how the departments work together, and then look for jobs within those firms. IT, 21% of our placements being with IT firms. That sector has consistently been a huge recruiter of graduates for us. Some big clients like IBM I mentioned earlier, but also a lot of niche specialist tech firms that are doing extremely well. And we've got lots on our client list right now. Education, so we work with organizations like Teach First and TEFL. We're actually placing graduates over in China right now. I mean, China were first into this and now they're coming out of it. Their sectors are starting to come back. The ones that were hit, like tourism, hospitality, aviation, are all getting close to where they were before the pandemic. So there are opportunities in China as they come out of this the first. But also a lot of graduates become risk averse during recessions, and they prefer to work in a more secure career. So teaching is certainly that. And anything else in the public sector is deemed far more secure and a safer career option. FMCG, that's 3%. So, there are retailers doing very well at the moment. And they're taking quite a few graduates off us at this time. So there are 4 sectors that are up there that are recruiting right now that I would strongly suggest you do some research into. As I said, the job market's constantly changing. Will we go into another lockdown? That might affect our business and others. So, things might change again. It's really hard to predict. But it has accelerated growth for some firms. I mentioned e-commerce because people are at home buying things online more. but there are other firms. So, I was reading about how Amazon have invested in a company called Rivian. I think they are an American firm, but they make electric vans. So that's a direct result of Amazon needing lots of vans to deliver all their products. And they are investing in a sustainable solution to that by investing in a new firm called Rivian. So who knows, they might be looking for graduates as they grow. So you need to look at these sectors and suppliers and satellite firms within this industry, because they're a whole different ecosystem. And with a bit of creative research, you will find these companies. They may not advertise online, but it's certainly worth a call to see if they have any plans to recruit. And these were the opportunities exist for graduates. There has been a bounce back in certain sectors. I mentioned the legal sector with backlogged work, lots of divorces apparently through the lockdown. So that's creating a lot of work for solicitors, but also mergers and acquisitions, things that were put on hold during the lockdown that are now starting to come back. I read in the FT about more M&A activity, so that might be an area that you're interested in. You might be able to get a job with a firm in that sector. So at the moment, we do have a big demand for business graduates. I know Pearson produced some fantastic graduates who've done business-related degrees. So have a look at our website. At the moment, 27% of our vacancies require a business or business-related degree. So there are opportunities right now. And at the moment, 27% are in consultancy. So this is a range of organizations, so management consultancies you will have heard of, but also technical consultancies, and typically they take up quite a lot of STEM graduates, I have to say. They look for numerate or analytical graduates, but they have consistently been recruiters of graduates in downturns. That's quite interesting to see. So another sector right now with a fair number of vacancies. The recruitment industry itself, they need to serve sectors that are growing. So look, at recruitment agencies that provide e-commerce firms. So 15% of vacancies on our jobs board right now offer recruitment agencies like that, working in very specialist sectors, supplying these sectors with candidates. And many of them will be looking for graduates to work as recruitment resources or consultants, that kind of thing. 12% of our vacancies are in engineering, so that's a broad range, all over the UK, not in certain areas, but right across the UK. And finally, 11% are in FMCG. Majority are in London and the South East, but a recent report showed that a high number of business owners would be quite happy to take on graduates, even if they didn't live within commuting distance. So if your home is Manchester and you'd like to work for a firm in London, there could be the opportunity to work remotely or come into the office once or twice a month. So the fact that we're working from home with increasing regularity has actually created more opportunities for graduates, because where you live may not hold you back. Plus, companies are saving money on office space, and it also means they could hire more people that maybe they couldn't get in the office beforehand. So that the way we're working is changing as well. I think that does bode well for graduates. So strongly recommend you register your CV with GRB today. It's very straightforward. One of our consultants will contact you when they've matched your skill set with one of our employers. We can never guarantee when that will be, but when it does happen, they'll hold your hand every step of the way through the interviews, the assessments, right up to negotiating your contract with one of our clients. It's all free. Recruiters pay us to find you. And finally, I'd just like to end with the launch of our sister site called graduatementor.uk. So this has been an idea that's been in our bottom drawer for maybe 10 years or so. And we decided to launch it about 6 weeks ago to offer one-to-one career mentoring for university graduates. So at the moment, we've got 92 mentors. They work for companies like Facebook, MasterCard, RWE, Nottingham University. So they're all business leaders, professionals or coaches, mentors, and they're all offering free 1 hour sessions with you. So I'd strongly suggest you register on graduatementor.uk as well. And this is all part of our campaign entitled #Help the COVID Generation. So we're really stepping up and trying to help as many graduates as possible right across the UK, make that very challenging step right now into the world of work. Right. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to take those now.
Unconnected from this, my other half son, who graduated this year, found a job through GRB and basically through LinkedIn. So he worked on LinkedIn for 2 months and through GRB and started his job 2 weeks ago. So I'd just like to vouch for the success of it. But also what he said that was really important was the kind of the service that he got from GRB felt really personal, and he felt really looked after on that journey, which I think is really important when you're job hunting, because you can sometimes feel a bit vulnerable. And I think he was really impressed by the level of service that he got.
Great, good to know. Thank you, Lisa. Yeah. Yeah, we're helping graduates every single day. So, all you need to do is register a CV and that'll start the process off.
Anaïs has put in the chat, do you know if there's any opportunity for the creative industry?
Oh, she did actually say through Pearson. So we could sort of take that. I mean, I don't know, Dan, whether you have any links in the creative industry as such.
It's not a huge area for us, I'm afraid. I mentioned those sectors on there that are looking, and I can't think of many. I mean, we work with marketing consultancies and digital agencies, that kind of thing. So obviously there's a creative element to that job. So I mean, that sector is very broad. I'd be interested to know what type of creative firm that person's thinking of.
If not, I know, so we can go back to our colleague Andy Brassington runs this kind of equivalent for the creative industry. So it might be better if we sort of take that offline. I can link you up with him afterwards, and you can have a chat, because we're running this separately. So if that's okay, Anaïs, we can take that offline.
Charlotte's put in, what time of year do you recommend applying for the graduate jobs? Is it just as early as possible?
Great question. Okay, so some big firms will have set recruitment, a set recruitment cycle. Okay, so they'll come onto campus in the autumn, maybe at a careers fair, and they'll announce the start of the intake for their graduate recruitment scheme. So they'll meet people, take CVs, they'll advertise it on their website, and much, much more. And with that response over the following few months, they'll then screen those graduates and then start interviewing maybe January or February, running assessment centres, maybe just before Easter, and then making offers maybe about May or June with the start of September. So that's kind of a yearly cycle for a typical recruiter, usually for a big firm who are hiring more than one graduate. It requires a huge sort of process. Now, I also want to add to that is that they sometimes come to the end of that cycle and they might have a shortfall. Okay, so they might have 20 vacancies, but 5 people don't take those offers at the very last minute, and that's where you could get in through the back door, so to speak, because they need those extra 5 graduates, and we have huge numbers of clients who come to us because they're in that situation. So even if that's the case, you think that all the jobs have gone with the big firms, go back, because they might have a shortfall. Now, all the other companies will approach it differently. They may do it very seasonally, because a lot of graduates come out of university in the summer. So there's a high concentration of activity in the summer. And they may open applications and they might hire someone within a space of 4 weeks. Other companies, it might be more based on when they get funding or a big project comes in. So it's kind of very much a last minute recruitment. That could happen at any time of the year. And then you get other companies that have applications open all throughout the year. So they have intakes every month. And so you said there, is it the earlier the better? Absolutely. But it is a full-time job to do all this, applying for jobs. And if you're in your final year, you've got to balance that with studying and making sure you're getting the best grade as possible. So, you know, a large number of graduates do leave it till when they actually graduate. But to get yourself in front of every single employer, it would pay to start right in the autumn, and then carry on maybe, you know, every couple of months, just checking in, seeing what vacancies there are. But yeah, that's very time consuming. I mean, that's why graduates use us, because we do all that for you. But as early as possible would be my suggestion.